All right, I'm going to bring up our next guest speaker. I got a long list of accomplishments here to introduce these. He's a 14-year Army veteran, recipient of the Silver Star, recipient of the Purple Heart, and recipient of the Meritorious Service Medal. He's an Army Ranger, a Green Beret, and a Delta Force operator. He fought in Operation Gothic Serpent, which famously became turned into a movie and a book that you all well know as Black Hawk Down. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Link.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate you all coming out here on Monday night. Jason, thanks for hosting us here. I want to thank Coast to Coast for having me out to talk to y'all tonight. And it's a special night for me, not just because I'm here with y'all, but it's also my 29th wedding anniversary. Thank you. Sorry my wife couldn't be here, but just a few tips to have a long, happy marriage. You know, number one, you have to be able to forgive your spouse. If you both do a bunch of dumb shit stuff, and if you don't forgive, you're never going to move forward. Second thing is take epic trips together. On our 20th anniversary, I took her to China. And next year, on the 30th anniversary, I'm going back to get her. Yeah. So, Thank you. Now, Bill. Kind of here tonight, I want to serve as kind of a representative of what Coast to Coast does. I think I'm pretty much, my story probably matches about 75% of the people that come through seeking help. And it all kind of boils down to some childhood trauma, probably, in a lot of people. Whether it's physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, whatever it is, or something as a kid that may have happened. And as a kid, you're not fully developed, and it just gets shoved down, right? And if you're a civilian that never has to go into the military and do all of that, that trauma, once you kind of grow up and you're a young adult, you can go seek help. You know, you can go see the shrink, you can talk about it, hey, this thing happened and all that, and you can work through your problems, and you can get help, and you can get that release that you need. But a lot of kids, like me, you know, you're kind of bouncing around in those teenage years. Maybe you're getting in trouble, maybe you're fighting, maybe you're rebellious, there's something going on, and you're drawn to the military. You need that discipline. And so you join the military. Now, science has shown that the human brain isn't fully developed till 25, 26 years old. So these 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, they join the military. And I signed up for the toughest thing. Give me what you got. And I signed up for the infantry. And the moment you get off that bus in basic training, it's kill, kill, kill. That's what it is. Kill, kill, kill. Everything you do is centered around killing people. And that's what we want from our warriors. We want killers. We want killers without remorse, which is perfect. And that's what I needed. That's what I wanted. And in basic training, went to airborne school, and then I volunteered for the Rangers. Went through all that. And if you thought basic training in infantry was kill, 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 you got to the Rangers, and it's really kill, kill, kill. And you're training to kill. Kill, kill. Which again, is what we want. But it's all conceptual. In 1989, December 19th, 3rd Ranger Battalion, we got called up, we're invading Panama, Operation Just Cause, to kill or capture President Manuel Noriega. I'm excited, waited my whole life for this. Unfortunately, this was a Sunday night. Thursday, 25-cent pitchers of Killian's Red at the Chickasaw Club. I got in a fight, broke my hand. Friday, I'm casted. Sunday, get alerted. I'm cutting off my cast so I can jump into combat. So I waited my whole life for this, but I'm a jackass. I'm going in with a broken hand. Did it, we're in, we're out, we get back home. I'm like, I went to combat, but was that really combat? Roy Brown was killed, some other guys were killed, but it wasn't really combat. And we kept training, kill, kill, kill. Then I volunteered for Delta. So, wow, this place sounds cool. Volunteered, went, made it. And it was kill, 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 but in a professional way. Very calm, very demeaning, very surgical. But you would spend days, weeks training, how can I kill people? How can I kill as many people as I can without getting killed myself, without getting hurt? And that is the mindset that we want from our warriors. And it's nothing wrong with that. And while I was in Delta, as has been talked about here, we got called in. We're going to go to Somalia, Mogadishu, and we're going to kill or capture the warlord Adid. Now back then, it's a peacetime army. We don't have, before 9/11, there's no GWAT, and so we really want to go do something, you know? We've been training to kill, 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 and now we finally get to do it. Now, what a lot of people don't know is we were there for 4 or 5 weeks, and we had done 5 missions already. You know, if they say, the intel would say, he's here, we would go there. Then say, oh, he just left. Or go here, go here. We would go because of who we were. We could go to wherever they wanted to get him. But the intel was always wrong. It's a African country, we're a bunch of white guys, not a lot of intel working for us. So I'll kind of frame it a little bit. We were a surgical unit. We could go in, grab somebody, kill somebody, in and out super quick. Light gear. We wore plastic skateboard helmets, not to keep from getting shot, because nobody shoots us, we're the attacker. But when you breach a door or go through a window, there's glass, could cut your head, there's sticks, whatever. So it's just for that kind of protection. We were not designed to go face to face with an enemy for sustained combat. Just wasn't who we were. And we didn't think we'd be doing that, as naive as that may sound. So on the 3rd of October, hey, there's a meeting with his 20 top lieutenants in this building. We're gonna go get them. Okay, let's go. Excuse me for a second. Now, I don't have time to tell the whole battle, nor would you want to sit here and listen to it, but it is made in a movie and there is a book about it. So, to frame it, there's 20 guys meeting in this building, 3-story building. There is our air package going in is a Black Hawk called Super 6-1, 4 Little Birds, and a second Black Hawk called Super 6-2. Those are their call signs. We go in on the target, infill, get the guys, everything's good. There was a convoy that's supposed to come up, and we're gonna take the convoy to go home. Well, as we're sitting there getting everything ready, Super 6-1 gets shot down. And it goes and crash lands probably 5 blocks away from us. Probably 2 blocks this way, 3 blocks that way. And the streets of Mogadishu were set up like a grid, just straight lines. So you could shoot 400, 500, 600 yards straight down the way. So the commander makes a decision. Let me back up. The bird has crashed. Trying to sort things out, there was a search and rescue helicopter full of PJs and another squad of Rangers. They come in and fast rope down to help secure that crash site. While guys are literally going down the road, it gets hit with an RPG. The pilot was able to hold the ball. The plane the helicopter kind of bounces a little bit, waits till all the guys get off, and then it goes smoking and crash lands in a safe area. So now we got a situation. So the commander says, hey, we're gonna take all the prisoners, put them on the convoy, we're gonna send that back, and we're gonna go by foot and secure that crash site. So as we're getting ready to leave and start going down, now we gotta start walking to the first crash site. I remember a Ranger that got shot in the neck, he was bleeding, and the convoy had kind of gone this way, come down, it was coming back across the street, and we're kind of crossing by it as we're walking down the street. And we say, hey, you're gonna be safe, get on the convoy, and go back home. And then we're gonna continue. And we start meeting pretty stiff resistance. At some point, right around there, another helicopter gets shot down, piloted by Michael Durant, it gets shot down in a completely different area of the city. So the commander says, all right, we're gonna get that convoy. We're gonna try to send that over to the second crash site. You guys, you're gonna walk and fight to the first crash site. So while that's going on, we don't know on the ground that that's going on. We got our mission to go to that first crash site. So as we're fighting down the street, a couple blocks this way, take the left to those final 3 blocks down to the crash site, and resistance gets pretty stiff. Meanwhile, the convoy trying to get to the second crash site is just getting our ass handed to them. With that gridded system, they're getting RPGs down alleyways, they're getting shot from rooftops, they're just getting beat up, people dying, wounded. It's pretty horrific. And at some point, they just can't do it anymore and they gotta go back. So they go and return to base. And smoking vehicles, flat tires, dead, wounded everywhere. It was a pretty horrific sight. So now you've got one crash site not secured. We're fighting to the first crash site to try to secure it. The helicopter I was on, Super 6-2, it has, we're the assaulters, so we fast rope out one side onto the target, and the helicopter would circle counterclockwise with the 3 snipers in the door so they could shoot at anybody trying to come in on us. That helicopter, Super 6-2, went over to the second crash site, and they landed, and Randy Shugart and Gary Gordon got off to move to that second crash site and help secure it. While they're doing that, that helicopter is hovering to protect them. It gets shot down, and it goes and crash lands in the safe area. We've now lost 4 Black Hawks in about an hour worth of work. So as we make the turn to go to crash site number 1, that's the first time, it's a peacetime army. We're training for kill, kill, kill. We're in it at the moment, but really not in it yet until it came over the radio. We got an eagle down, and operators would call ourselves Eagles, so we knew someone's hurt. And then they came over and said, Alpha 2 KIA. Like, that's Earl Fillmore. They just killed Earl. And without saying anything, without anybody saying and talking, immediately the gloves came off. And we were now in a fight. We were in combat, and we were getting our kill on at that point. So we continued to fight, and we got to this, the furthest advance that we would go that day was just one building on the side of the street. And it's very hard to explain, but we came up on a house, went and cleared it, took a couple guys who were in there, flex cuff them, and then we kind of went Alamo with that building, strong pointed it to hold it. Across the street was a crash site. So we own this building, across the street is a crash site. We got guys in that building, but then we don't own any of the buildings around us. And then down the street, there's some guys in that building, so we're kind of spread out. It's really chaotic, a lot of explosions, a lot of gunfire, and it's pretty intense. I was in a room, kind of like a brick wall here, and a wall here, and I had a window here, and there was a window here. And I was in that room defending up this road here, and I was hearing some yelling. And so I took my gun, and there's these wooden shutters, kind of open it up, and there were some Rangers out there in a machine gun position. And what's funny about the story is the book Black Hawk Down, which I've never read, but I flipped through it, and I can see where the action is, and I've come to that scene. And so that book is told from the Ranger point of perspective. And so what they say was, well, here's what happened. Hey, what's going on, guys? We're taking fire from that window. Okay. Hey, Rick, I told my guy who had a grenade launcher, they're taking fire from this window over here. He put a grenade in there, blew up, everything was good. From the book perspective, these guys were saying they were taking fire, and then this California surfer dude pops out. Hey, what's up, bro? So the interesting perspectives of what's going on. And so I had taken off my helmet, my plastic helmet, because it was really wearing out the cartilage of my ear. And I said to Rick, I was standing up against this wall, the machine gun position outside. And I said, damn, Rick, they're really putting it on us today, aren't they? He said, no, we're just gonna lure them in and we're gonna stomp their ass. And then as soon as he got the S out, lights out. Next thing I know, I'm waking up, and what had happened was they fired an RPG at the machine gun position. They missed the machine gun position and hit the wall that I was standing against. And I didn't have my plastic helmet on, and it knocked me out. They came in, the room's on fire, but the RPG did not detonate. So it hit the wall, have a beautiful blast pattern on the back of my Kevlar vest. Back of my hair is all singed, the room's on fire from the mortar going around. The motor going around, and they come in and pull me out. I come back to massive headache, and PJ comes over, checks me out, blah, 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 and got a concussion and puts me in this room with the dead and the wounded to get some water. And so I'm in there for maybe a 30-minute timeout. And I'm hearing the moaning, I'm hearing all the groaning, and I got to get back to the fight, so I get back out. And the fight's all night. All night long, this thing goes on, and eventually, as you'll see in the book or the movie, the 10th Mountain comes in on some motorized vehicles. We put the dead and wounded on there, and then they drive away and leaving us there. Now the sun's up the next morning, so we've been there about 15 hours. Sun's up, and that's when you hear about the Mogadishu Mile. So we have to pretty much fight our way out of the city to get to a safe area where there's some Humvees. And very, very offensive. We were very aggressive. You could probably walk out of there without ever touching the ground, just stepping on empty magazines because we were unloading on those fools. And made it out. And again, we don't know everything else that went on. So maybe had a little bit of an attitude like, man, we're out here fighting all night. And these other guys are back there just smoking, joking, eating dinner, having fun, and we're out here all by ourselves. So we got in the Humvee, drives all the way back, kind of get out, kind of pissed off. And then it's a scene like out of a movie where you're seeing all these sheets of all these dead bodies. You're like, what the hell happened? You start finding guys like, what's going on? Why are these guys? And you start finding out what had happened. Brad Halling, who was one of the guys on my plane, or helicopter, the one that got shot down in Super 6-2, he lost his leg. You go see him laying there in the hospital, like, man, Brad, what's up? So I'm just working on my new soccer strategy. He had a great attitude, but it was really mind-blowing to know the scope of everything that had gone on while we were out there. And so that was the fourth. The fifth we're recovering. They have a hostage, Michael Durant from the second crash site. They've taken him hostage. The Randy Shugart, Gary Gordon, Medal of Honor winners for their actions, and then the other three crew members, the other pilot and the other crew chiefs, they're dead. And so we're back watching on CNN video of them dragging these bodies to the street, hanging them, burning them, spitting on them, kicking them, throwing rocks, just desecrating our buddies. And there's not much we can do. Helicopter shot down. We lost 18 dudes, 70-something wounded. It was a big hit. So on Wednesday, we got reinforcements. Another company of Rangers, another squadron at Delta. And they landed, and we're like, oh yeah, it's payback time. Now we're gonna get some. And that day we had the memorial service for the guys that had died. And really looking forward to the payback that's getting ready to come. And at some point during that day, my boss came out to me and said, hey, listen, I'm gonna put you in for a Purple Heart. I said, what for? He goes, well, you got hit with an RPG, you got knocked unconscious, you got diagnosed with a concussion by a medical professional, you qualify for a Purple Heart. I'm like, man, ain't no way. I'm not gonna get a Purple Heart for that. You got Brad over here with one leg. It's like, hey man, think about your career. Think about your promotions. You need a Purple Heart. I said, I'm not gonna get one. I'm not gonna accept that. There's no way. I said, okay. And that was it. A little later that evening, this is October 6th, I'm standing there talking to a couple of guys, and I heard this sound. It was like, and I remember going, what was that? And then that's it. That's all I remember. Next thing you know, those two guys are gone. I'm on the ground. I'm sitting up. Everything's dark and black. I look down, I got blood running out my leg. And I still don't know what happened. So I had this concussion on Sunday. That's before anybody knew what a TBI was or any brain injuries or anything about concussions. And then 3 days later, boom, get hit again, fall down, probably busted my head on the concrete, everything else. And I don't know what's going on. I'm just bleeding. And so the hangar's 50 yards there. We all stayed in this big hangar at the airport. And so I just started hopping on one leg. And it's dark, and it's smoky. And I'm hearing moans of grown men. Help me. And it's haunting. It's so weird and surreal. And I'm just hopping on one leg through the smoke in the dark, not hearing people moaning and begging for help. There's nothing I can do. And as I get into the hangar, I see a buddy of mine who's coming out, John Boswell, and I fall onto him, and he gets me, and he puts me on. Some medics come over and check me out, and my Achilles was cut with a piece of shrapnel. And John Boswell, a good friend of mine who took care of me then, killed himself last year. So it's kind of weird, sad, tragic. So I'm kind of in a weird space, put me on a stretcher. They're taking me by, and a lot of the guys were in this back area of the hangar, which is kind of a bunker area. And, I'm trying to be kind of funny, avenge me kind of stuff, because I don't realize still to this moment what had happened. And so I get on a helicopter, get flown to a mobile hospital unit, and I'm laying in the waiting area, doing the triage, and I'm waiting for my time for surgery. And that's when a guy named Jerry Boykin was the Delta commander at the time, went on to be, I believe, a 3-star general. He's sitting across from me, and that's when he tells me, he's like, hey, did you hear about Matt? I say, no, what happened? He said, Matt Ryerson, one of the honorees this year, he was killed. It was a mortar attack. And then it screwed up General Gary Harrell and Doc Marsh and a bunch of those guys. And it was at that moment that I realized we got hit with a mortar, and the mortar that killed Matt hit me in the back of the leg and cut my Achilles. And I'll always be connected to Matt for that. And so, long story short, you get back home and keep going through life, and you get back to work, and you just keep going because you're trained to kill, and kill without remorse. And although I'm very sad, all that stuff, like that childhood trauma, all this stuff just gets pushed down. And you keep going. And then you go to Bosnia. I've been to 62 countries, been on 6 of the 7 continents, done stuff all over this world. But it's all just for the government. It's for the army. It's what we do. We just keep shoving it down and shoving it down and shoving it down, which again is what we want our warriors to be. So I got, I finished my career. I got out at 14. I did 4 years in Rangers, 10 years in Delta. And when it's over, it's over. Hey, I'm getting out. It's sad. You have your parties, and then you drive away. So from 18, 19, 20 years old, with that undeveloped brain, and just get kill built into you, and you're just taught to keep pushing stuff down and not feeling emotion and kill without remorse. Now you're free. Okay, now go into the world. I put on a suit and a tie, and I'm sitting in an office, trying to work in an office environment, and it's weird. You think you're normal. But everything that you went through, you're not normal. You know, your neural paths in your brain, when you have a concussion, it heals, but it's a bruise. And then that bruise cuts off certain neural paths. And so things that used to operate are now blocked. And your body will automatically work around, or sometimes it may not be able to work around. And so it doesn't sound like a big deal, but if you're 1 degree off, and then over years you get a little bit more off, and your loved ones can see it, and they're like, well, I'm just an asshole. No, you're not an asshole. Something's going on in you, man. You're like, no, I'm fine. I don't have PTSD. That's for wimps. I don't have anything like, nothing bothers me. I'm fine. But you're not fine. And you go through life, and stuff is just weird. But you don't know it's weird, and your relationships are weird, and you're snapping at people, and you're being short and angry, and all this stuff. And that's just life. But thanks to Coast, even at my advanced age, and all of this happened a long time ago, it still was, something wasn't right. And I had a calling, and I saw a text message that somebody put out in a group, and I pulled that thread. And they said, hey, man, we can help you. You heard about Coast to Coast? I'm like, I don't know. And then Johnny calls me up. It's like, hey, man, we got some programs for you. I'm like, I don't know. Sounds kind of weird. I'm fine. But I went, and I trusted the process, and I went to Coast, and I went to one of their programs in December last year. I mean, I'm 8-9 months removed. It's very fresh. And that one weekend, thanks to y'all's generosity and your support, I went in on a Friday, and I came back a different person on a Sunday. It is unbelievable what their program did for me. And that was just the start. That was on the spiritual side of things. And then they funded me at a brain clinic of 2 weeks. I went in with a score of 32, and I have no way to quantify that, except that 32 is an F in any kind of 32 out of 100. And when I left 2 weeks later, my neurological scores and my eyes and all that stuff was a 72. Like, it was real, tangible results that changed my life and made me have compassion and empathy and understanding and forgiveness of all of these people my entire life that I felt have wronged me or I wronged them. I was able to let it all go. And I had all that shit stuff from childhood through all my military career had just been unleashed. And I found this huge release and this peace that I never knew possible. And I'm a changed man and able to sit up here and talk to a room full of strangers without being a blubbering mess. And it's all because of your generosity and you helping and what Coast to Coast can do and the programs that they are affiliated with that can help people like me come back and live a normal life that I never thought was possible. And so through their programs and through your support, I no longer feel that tug of self-destruction of the partying, the drugs, the alcohol, all the stuff that before an emotional, you could talk about things, but you don't know how to deal with emotions because you're taught not to have those emotions. So it manifests itself in drug abuse, alcohol, all of that kind of stuff to kind of feel normal. And the whole time, not realizing that's not normal. And so losing that tug of self-destruction through the programs has changed my life. My relationship, my wife, really, she's not in China, has never been better. I've never been closer to God, and I've never felt better about life. So I wanted to thank you very much for your generosity and your support to the program, and it goes to real results to help people like me and those like me. So thank you very much.
Love you, brother.